nagbabalik po ang pinakamalawak na sports newscast sa bansa. Kami po ang Teledyaryo Sports. Pag-uusapan ho natin ito pong Filipino martial arts. Baka ngayon nyo lang ho nadinig, pero matagal na ho yung sikat, no? Particular na sa Estados Unidos. At ito, pakikilala ko sa inyo, mga foreigner pa ang nagpa-practice ito pong disiplina na ito. And our first guest is a member of the Army Scout Ranger and has been practicing FMA or Filipino martial arts for the past 12 years. Chris Mans, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you in the show, dude. Okay, and another FMA practitioner is DefTac instructor police from the Police Academy. So what's DefTac, sir? Anyway, Mr. Ed Alberto.
DefTac is defensive tactics.
Defensive tactics. So it's one of the branches in American police?
Yes, it's one of the training modules that we present to the recruit officers.
Okay, and together with Mr. Ed and Chris is Alan Sanidad, a Taekwondo school owner, but he also practices FMA. Good evening, Alan.
Yes, hi, how are you?
So you're a Filipino too?
Yes, I am.
You look like the lead vocalist of the group Journey. You know, what's his name?
Love him.
You love
Yes.
him? I forgot his name. Anyway.
So I just grow my hair a little bit longer.
You need to, man. And you should drink coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, ang atin pong pang-apat na guest, eto, medyo komportable tayo. No? Siya po ay guro, no? Instructor ng Filipino martial arts, si Dog Mark Haida. What's up, Dog?
What's up?
What's up, Dog?
Kababayan, how's
Mabuhay.
everyone doing?
So, first time mo ulit bumalik sa Pilipinas?
No, I've been coming home every 2 years.
Every 2 years?
Umuwi ako, yeah.
Okay, but anyway, first things first, Dog. What is FMA? What's Filipino martial
FMA is
arts?
a generic term for Filipino martial arts kasi maraming types of Filipino martial arts. Sa Pilipinas, it's known as Arnis, Eskrima. In the United States or in the Western world, they know it as Kali. You know, there's so many ways of calling it, but in the end, Filipino martial arts sinasakop lahat. You know, at least that way, it's easier to say.
But basically, from what I read, the FMA is more into using some indigenous tools like a cane, a stick.
Filipino martial arts, the difference between Filipino martial arts and other arts is we start training weapons kaagad. And when we train with weapons, para safety, ginagamit natin rattan sticks. Now, rattan sticks, kasi fibrous yan eh. Kapag impact, ginagawa mo, hindi mo tinatamaan ng katawan. Tinatamaan mo ang stick. When you hit the stick, it absorbs the impact. So, may longevity. But it's not limited to the stick. Basta kung may edge, di pwede makakat. Kung may point, panaksak. If it's blunted, you can hit. And we also teach and also use firearms.
Okay. And let's move over to Alan. Alan, so aside from, of course, having something in your hand when you're practicing FMA, no? Definitely, you're the best person to differentiate FMA from other disciplines since you're also a Taekwondo instructor. So, aside from, of course, something in your hand, how does FMA, you know, in general, differ from the other practices and disciplines?
Well, first of all, you start out learning how to use a weapon first. Most traditional martial arts, you start out empty hand, you learn empty hand techniques, and then as you progress, as you get your black belt, then you progress into weapons training. So this Filipino martial arts, you start out using a weapon, and that teaches you your body mechanics for empty hand techniques. So
basically, as you train from holding the usual tools, you also get to acquaint yourself, you know, fighting with whatever weapon is available.
Yes. So if you practice with a blade and you're doing this, you know, you practice all day long like that. When you take that out of your hand, that's how your empty hands is going to look like.
All right. I want to ask Mr. Ed Alberto, you're from Mexico, if I'm not mistaken?
No,
You are from?
I'm actually half Filipino.
You're half Filipino too?
Yes,
Okay.
born in Guantanamo
But you look
Bay.
like a Chicano, sir.
Well.
Anyway, so you've been practicing FMA at DefTac Police Academy, and can you tell us the scope of this being used by our policemen?
Yes, we use it to supplement the current training program that we have. What we take from it is the weaponry, and how do we deal with the weapons that, you know, the people that are trying to harm the citizens and us. And we have a better understanding now that we've implemented this training of ranging with weapons, what weapons are out there, improvised weapons, and weapons that are available over the internet.
So why is DefTac focusing more on Filipino martial arts than the other, you know, disciplines like the Aikido or Judo or the other, you know, well-known disciplines? How come you focused on FMA?
the best way to put it, it's the most realistic training that I've ever done. The realism is that there's a weapon there, and you could easily be killed. So it has a very practical and realistic application for what we do as police officers.
Okay. So definitely, FMA is can we call this still an underground discipline, or is it already fast becoming to be a popular, sport or discipline in the U.S.?
I can speak from a law enforcement perspective that yes, it is becoming more prevalent in the United States with respect to law enforcement as an art and as a way of protection system.
So are you seeing that the other branches of law enforcement in the States will also be, implementing the practice of FMA?
Yes, I would say at local, state, and federal level in the States, yes.
All right, Chris, what inspires you, to practice FMA from the other disciplines?
What inspired me the most was that the more I learned about the weapon, the more I learned how to protect myself in the real world application of violence, not just motions or katas or something you do in front of a mirror, but that every day I can use this to protect myself, whether I'm in the civilian world or in a combat world.
Mm-hmm. And is FMA really just for self-defense, or is this really dangerous as, what the other disciplines are,
It depends on what you use it for. In some scopes, it's used for self-defense. What I use it for is more combative. It's to save my own life. So, yeah, for me, it's more real life.
Are there already a lot of armies and forces from the Scout Ranger that have been, practicing FMA?
Not many. Only soldiers under my direct command have practiced it. But other people from other units and other troops don't really practice much when it comes to close quarter combat.
But is FMA hard to learn?
No, it is not. It's very practical, very easy to pick up. You can very fast.
So basically, you just have to practice the basic concept of it.
You have to practice the basic concept and repetitively practice. If you do not, then you'll lose it like anything else.
Okay. One reason why ito pong grupo natin nakausap ngayon ay nandito po sa Pilipinas is to kumbaga ipakalat ito pong kaalaman patungkol po sa FMA and Dog. So mahihirapan ba tayo na ipakalat sa publiko, kasi dito mismo sa Pilipinas hindi pa ganun kalawak yung kaalaman patungkol sa FMA.
They passed the bill to make arnis the national sport, And what we're trying to do is repackage Filipino martial arts so that we can now tell our people meron tayong sariling art that is world renowned. Everybody in other countries love what we do. They respect it. Kumbaga, we have a lot of things that we do with the art. Other arts are hard to learn. You have to learn, how to grapple and do that. How hard is it to use a knife? But then we are the experts of that. We are the ones that people look at as the people who can definitely teach us to the military, to law enforcement, and to the civilian populace as self-defense. But I also can teach Filipino martial art as a wellness for fitness, and a wellness course that we teach at the college level. So hindi lang pang self-defense, hindi lang pang military or combat. It can also be taught to teach coordination, to teach you how to move, to be dynamic in motion. So it's really all-encompassing. And the thing here is, it's very, very much sought after by the rest of the world. Why not in our own country? Yan ang importante.
Anyway, I'm just curious, Dog, how come we were attributed, or the name is after the Filipinos, itong FMA? Bakit sa Pilipino ipinangalan?
Ang FMA? Well, actually, because it's Filipino. It was actually, different people call it, from different parts, call it arnis. Arnis is very popular in the Philippines. Eskrima. In the West, we know it more as Kali, but Kali is not that popular of a term over here. But there are some resurgences to use it again because they say it's a very Filipino term. Whether it's arnis, eskrima, or Kali, I just call it Filipino martial arts because sa atin nanggagaling And I don't try to stress on the history kasi that just separates people. Instead, let's talk about what brings us together. The commonality is that it's Filipino in flavor. It's something that we have used through the centuries, and we're very good at it.
And Alan, sans or minus the weapons, do you think, or are you seeing in the future that FMA would also be somehow making a debut in the mixed martial arts?
Oh,
MMA?
yes. I think it's already made its debut in mixed martial arts. It's just, it hasn't been presented in that way that it's there, but it's there. It's already in movies, it's in law enforcement, it's in military, but it's just now we just have to, make it known to the people.
So what movie is that presented the FMA?
Recently you had the Book of Eli.
The Book of
Denzel.
Eli, yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Denzel.
yes.
So it
Yes,
was
you have-
FMA.
Oh, yes. The movie 300, all the blade fighting in there. You have the Bourne Identity movies, Mission Impossible 3. So it's definitely prevalent.
And what about you, Ed? What's the initial reaction coming from the other nationalities whenever you share FMA? Because basically, when they talk about Filipinos, they associate Filipinos to boxing or to others that have been typecast our nationality. But did you find it hard to share this particular discipline to other nationality?
I don't think so. Those that are interested in the arts as a whole, all the martial arts, are very open-minded and receptive to it, just as I am receptive and respectful of all the other arts that I've also trained in. So I think if there's a genuine interest to learn and partake in what it is we do and the mystique and the intrigue of the weapons, that's what draws people in. So it is very easy to present to those.
So what's their initial reaction when they start training FMA?
Initially, they feel they can't do it because it requires a lot of coordination. I've studied other arts that puts more emphasis on the strong side of the body versus incorporating both hands, both legs, and entire body.
Okay. Anyway, this is a basic question for you, Chris, but I'd like to ask you this. How are you able to use FMA in your everyday life, aside from, of course, your duties and responsibilities as a Army Scout Ranger?
In my everyday life, it really helps my coordination and balance at all times. And whenever I've worked in any security atmosphere, I've been able to use it to retain people and to get them out safely without hurting the person and myself or anybody around them.
And you feel secured knowing that you have these skills, huh?
Absolutely.
But have you been assigned somewhere, like in Iraq or?
I was assigned in Afghanistan for a time, and I will be going back to
And
Afghanistan.
were you able to use FMA?
Absolutely. Patrolling through the Ukil village was a very small village, very tight knit. I had to use some rifle retention skills from Kali that I learned, and to keep me from
So
being.
would there be a
closed in.
time, that FMA would somehow integrate catching bombs? No, I'm just kidding, Chris. Anyway, parting shots, Chris. Anything you wanna tell the Filipino viewing public about FMA or about future activities? Will you be doing some exhibitions here in the Philippines or tournaments?
Not that I had planned, but I mean, anything can happen.
Okay,
No.
and we'll spar later.
Absolutely.
I want to have a piece of you. Okay. And Ed, any message?
Thanks for having me. Anytime that I can speak on the art, it's a passion for me. So I really appreciate this.
So you said you're a Filipino and you're from your lineage is from where here in the Philippines?
My father was born in Manila.
Your father. So you're from Manila. You're a Manileño too, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And Alan, any message?
Just that keep your eyes open for Kali, Filipino martial arts, because I think as a people, we're very generous, we're very giving, and that's the same with our art. So it's Kali's is going to be a big thing in the near future.
And Dog, ano mga activities natin lined up para sa ating grupo? Ang dami ninyo, ano?
Yeah, there's a whole group over here that's supporting, celebrating Filipino martial arts. There's a group of Russian.
Yeah, can we call them in front?
Yeah,
so
sure.
they
Come
can
on,
be
guys.
seen on TV?
Come on up.
So the other members of our FMA group.
This is what we call the Brotherhood of the Brotherhood of the Blade, and these guys who are my
di pala,
students,
no?
we're all what you call this brothers, barkada. I teach my students like we're barkada and family, like the bayanihan. So Kali is not just about fighting with other people, learning how. It's about learning how to be brothers and supporting each other, and that's what we do. Itanghal ang sariling atin because it teaches how we as Filipinos have solidarity.
So ano magiging itinerary ninyo ngayon? So magpe-present kayo?
Well, hopefully we meet with the Vice President tomorrow. There are Russians who are coming in who are military special forces. We're going to meet with them also to support and celebrate Filipino martial arts.
So-
And we're going to be part of a movie, a documentary that talks about the Filipino martial art called The Bladed Hand, a film by Jay Ignacio. And it celebrates the impact of Filipino martial arts all over the world. So makikita ninyo that the Filipino martial arts is very much in demand all over the world and that we need to support it because other countries love it. Why not our own? Dapat we should know about it.
And definitely it's about time that a film come out